Hello everyone, this is Samuel from Learn Programming Africa, and we are going through today's task, which are Argc, Argv, and which static libraries. Before that, I have something to say, and that is we are preparing, or we are building a website for our platform, which is going to host different kind of tutorials for C programming or other programming language that are used by top companies like Google, Amazon, and other things. And we are going to build a project, a portfolio project, and other things that will shine your resume. We are building that currently, and our YouTube channel is also growing. Thank you for that, and please still subscribe and use this channel so that we are going to be motivated to continue doing this. Thank you, and I'm going to start from the first one, which is the Argc and Argv assignment today. So before I start, I haven't prepared any thing, but I'm going to try covering what Argc and Argv are first, and then we are going to go into the program. So I'm going to create some file which is like this. For example, I'm going to create a file and explain what Argc and Argv are first. Then I'm going to continue working on the task of today. So let's say, for example, I'm going to create touch some C file, some file.c, which is my C file, and I'm going to come here and here. Then I'm going to open this file, and I'm going to include stdio.h and int main void, not void, int argc, comma char argv, this one, and I'm going to write one thing, print f. Let me do the explaining first. Argc is the parameters that are passed, the number of parameters that are passed to the executable file we are going to produce from this one. Let me get back to you. And as I was saying, Argc is number of things you entered while running this program on terminal, while Argv is going to be the array of a string that holds the strings that you entered, or the number or anything you entered as a string on the terminal. So we are going to try those by making these things executable. First, let's say print f for a digit d and a new line, for example, and argc, which is this one, and return 0 for success message. And I'm going to come here, and I'm in the tutorial, and I'm going to ls, which is I have some file.c, and I'm going to make this executable by running gcc some file.c and output it on some file, for example, and ls. As you can see, some file is green and it is executable. I can run it like this, some file, and it is going to give me a number which is 1, an argc, which this is what I entered here. So let's try another things. This is Learn Programming Africa. It is going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Actually, Africa is 1, so 6 is what it is going to bring us. It is going to count the number or the thing that I have entered here, separated by space. So that is what it is doing. If I want this to be, this is what Argc is. It is going to count the number of thing or anything you have written to the terminal, which is it is going to count it and put it. Argv is going to capture everything that you wrote as a string. So if I print all the thing that is entered, for example, I'm going to say int I for I equals to 0, I less than argc, which is a number, and I plus plus. I'm going to print a string, actually a string which is argv index d, which is on argv on index d there is something which is for example equals to a string which is going to be the first argument I have given it is an integer which should be an I. Then I'm going to give it argv, which is our argument that was passed down here, and index I is going to bring me what is on that index. So I'm going to close this one, and this is going to bring me the first thing is I'm going to make it on new line so that it is going to be on new line. So the first thing is what it is going to print is the element that is on the terminal. Then it is going to iterate through the argv and bring me what I have written on there. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to compile it again so that it is updated. So gcc some float c and some file. So this is going to update my changes, and if I run this thing, it is going to first print the number. Let me increase this one. First the number, then it should print these ones. So what happened now? So some file. So okay, I haven't gcc then some file, output it on some file. I think it is not updated. That is what it is saying. So if I do this in ls here, as you can see there is an a.out file there. So I'm going to clear this and I'm going to run some file again, and with some things 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 and something, and as you can see there is 5 elements, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is correct, and the argument on index 0 is this one. As you can see, it is this one. On argument 1 is this one, which is 2, and on argument 3 is this one, and so on. As you can see, it is printing as expected, and this is all about argument C and argument V, which is given by default by C programming. So you can give any number of parameter you like, and this is going to count the number of variable you have entered on a terminal for you, and this is going to hold the things you have entered. That is entirely what Argc and Argv are. And let's get back to our intranet and solve the tasks. I have solved the quiz, but let's go over it. It is asking what is Argc. The answer is going to be the number of command that the command line arguments, which is the correct one, and this is if flag set to 1 when command line arguments are present. This is not true. And it can also be the size of the argv array, which is correct. So these two are the correct answers, which is totally acceptable answers. So these are the valid answers for what is Argc description. So let's see what is an argv. The next question is what is argv, and it is an array containing the program command line arguments, which is the argument itself are going to be inserted into the argv as we have witnessed. And this is also another way of describing this argv. So it can be you can say it is an array of size argc, which is a correct argument here. So that is what it is. So what is an argv index 0? It is the program name as we have witnessed. So this is going to be some file. So you can actually change the file name, but the program or the executable file name is going to be the on the index 0 always. So that is what we have answered here. What is argv argc? So for example, this is saying this is asking us what is on argv index 5, which is not in this file. So let's print out what it is, and you can see what that means. So let's print f argv index argc digit index digit is equals to a string and new line comma argc is our, so let's comma argc and argv sub argc. This is going to be, I think it is going to be a segmentation error, but let's check if it works. First I'm going to compile this file again, so that as you can see an array index is printf. Okay, so what is printf? So printf should be the thing there. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say some file and my file name. So this is going to say some file my 1 2 3 4. So up to 4 it is going to print fine, and as you can see argv index 4, which is the fourth index, is going to be null, as you can see. So it is as this is a indicating or referencing the last thing on that string, so it is going to be null. So the next question is saying in the following command what is argv -2. Let's do this. My school is fun, and see what is on that one. Some file, and I'm going to paste it. My school is fun, and on argv index 2, that is a school. So I have just replaced this one with my file, and it is going to print me an argv index 2 is going to be school. So that is what this is, why I chosen the data. In this file command, what is argv2? So this is the zeros index, this is the 1 index, and this is the 2 index. So this is going to be is fun, as you can see. On this one, in the following command, what is argv sub index 2, this is going to be on the zeros index, and the entire quotation is on one file, and it is going to be counted as 1. So this is on 1, and the second is going to be null, as we have witnessed before. So this is all about the quizzes. You can check them by looking at this and creating your file and running it using a command line. By the way, you can't run this using actually you can run using Windows, but you have to use or look at a documentation for specific for Windows, as C is platform independent. So you have to be write your own code there. So that is what I want to remind you. Rather than that, let me hide the quiz and go to the project, and we are going to work on the projects today pretty quick, as we are going to work on the other or the other assignment, which is static library. So let me go there and create my file first. Clear here, and cd back, and a low level programming clear, and ls. As you can see, there is no this one, so I'm going to create this one, copy this one, git okay, make directory this one 0x0a, which is 0a is actually a hexa for 10. So 0x0a, and I'm going to say make cd into this directory, and touch this file 0 dash what's my name.c. clear here. I'm going to add a readme as well, touch readme.md, and I'm going to vi into my readme open by my editor. So as you can see, there is a tutorial here, and I'm going to I have backed up, so I'm going to alx low level, and come here, and I'm going to open both of these ones, and as you can see, there is this one as I have written currently, and let me do this. This is all about Argc and Argv. So this is going to be quitted out of it, and I'm going to include the first one, include stdio.h to use printf and other things, and I'm going to create a main file, and I have to respect Betty so that she is not going to complain. So I'm going to describe my function, which is main, and this is a function to do what? Let's read our function. Write a program that prints its name followed by new file. If you rename the program, it will print the new name without having to compile it again. You should not remove the path before the name of the program. So this is what it is saying. So the file should print out its name. So for example, if we have created this file name, it should print its own name. So we are going to use argc and argv, obviously, as it is a tutorial for that. So let me this is a function to print its name. So what is argument? I'm going to say argc, which is argc argument, a parameter, and the next one is argv, which is an array of a command listed. So what does the main return? It is going to return 0 for success. And I'm going to say int main. I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to say int main what? Int main int argc comma char argv array, which is what it is going to take, and the command, the thing I'm going to say is this thing should print itself. So print f. As it is an array, it is going to this function is, or this is a pointer. We can use the first, this is pointing to the first address of this array, so I can dereference this. So I'm going to say I'm going to print a string, which is followed by a new line, and which is I'm going to dereference the first argument, as we have seen argv. If I do this, it is going to print, if I bring this, copy this one, and come back here, and come back here, open a new tab, and open tutorial and some file.c, and if I do this one, if I print this thing, it is going to print the file name, which should be let me split this into our new tab, and cd back and tutorial, unless if I compile this one, gcc some file c, and output it on some file, it is going to say this one, and if I run some file, it is going to print itself or its name. So this is going to be printed out. As you can see, it is some file. So this is what we have been asked. As you can see, it is dereferencing the first address, so it is giving me the file or the thing on arg0. If I do this one, if I do this one as well, it is going to print out the same thing if I compile it. So this is going to be here, and save, and come back here and compile it and run it. It is the same, but we can do this as well as the first one. As you can see, this one, I prefer this one, that is why I wrote that here. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to check clear and get back to this one, and git add all, git commit, and printing the name of the file. Git push is now going to ask me any credential. If you want, if it is keep asking you the credential, just use git config credential dot helper store, then git push and enter your credential, then it is going to catch it for you and use that every time. So I have it already, so it is not asking me for username and password. If it is asking you for username and password, run this command, which is git config credential.helper. Let me do this. As you can see, git config credential.helper.store, then space store, then git push. You are going to enter your credentials, which is your GitHub username and actually your token, your personal token that you have generated on GitHub. Then after that, it is not going to ask you for that thing. So after that, you are good to go. For now, let's check our code which we have written. I think it is going to have some error. Let's see what the error is. Printing the name of the file. So some checks are failing, so this is not showing me any thing. So I'm going to get back to the here and I'm going to see what's happening. All right, let me see what is here. The prototype of all your function and prototype of the function, this should be included in your header file, so I haven't done that. So right, you are not allowed to use global variable, more than 5 function per file, and don't forget to push your header file. You are not allowed to use standard library. You are allowed to use, so I'm allowed to use. So let's add my main.h attach main.h, and I'm going to open that file from here. Open it, and I'm going to say if not defined main h define main h and end if, and I'm going to say int put char what. Let me bring this put char here. Where is put char? All right, let me get back here, and for I think it is going to be in here. So I'm going to copy this one and come back here and paste it here and save it. Git add all, git commit my header file added, git push, and it is going to push it. Let's check again here. So I hope it is going to work. All right, there is other things that are not passing, so let's come back here and check. All right, there is no return here, return 0. So let me again check this. Git add all, git commit message, return added, git push. Check my code and start a new test. It is still the same. So let me annotate the unused variable here, which is underscore attribute underscore unused, like this. And as argc is not used here, let me check by running it first on my local machine. Cut here and see, and it is being run by these things, extra panda trick, these ones, copy and come back here, gcc dash this one, and the file name should be what, zero what's my name.c. So as you can see, all warning being treated as error. So unused parameter, this is, as you can see, this is the error. So I'm going to add the thing I have removed first and come back here and do this. This is going to execute fine. ls here, I'm now going to use a.out, so I'm going to remove a.out, clear out of this, git add all, git commit error, solved the unused warning there, git push, and now it should work. I hope it is going to work. As I'm going to tell you, this is the thing that dash w error is going to look for. I don't know what this error is, so unless I see it, I can't do anything about it. Let's see what we have errored here. Let's use Betty error, this one, warning space prohibited between function name and open parentheses. So on line 13, where is it on line 13? C9. So here I have made an error there. So that is everything. Git add all, git commit Betty is respected. Git push. Now I think that is the reason, so it is going to pass. So I have just checked if Betty was complaining, and she was complaining. So that is what check number 4 is. Unless you see the detail of the error, you can't go and check anything. So we are going to check everything by using this one first, as we did now, which is this one, which is, we are going to compile our code using w-all, w-error, w-extra, and std, this one, which is which our compiler is using. And if it is going to give us an error, we are going to trace it and work with that error from now on. And the other thing to be Betty, we are going to work on that as well. So let's go down and continue. Write a program that prints the number of arguments passed into it. Your program should print a number followed by a new line. So we did this already. So just a little tweak will do it. So let me do this. So I'm going to clear out of this, and I'm going to touch what clear. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to do cd touch 1-args.c. This is going to be added here. 1-args. Okay, I have get out of that. So let's open this, and I'm going to include stdio.h, and I'm going to make this described as previous one. So I'm going to come back here and copy this one, as it is already the same. V and I'm going to copy the main file as well, copy and go down and bring it down there as well. So I'm going to first print f this one and %d and new line, as it is going to be digit argc, and this is what we need to print, and this is what we need to get back. So this is what this program is asking, which is write a program that prints the number of arguments passed into it. Your program should print the number followed by new line. This is the instruction. So the number of argument that is being passed to it is argc -1, which as the first one is going to be itself, the command itself, so it is not going to be counted, and this one is not going to be used here, rather it is going to be used after this one, as this is the unused variable here. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to git add this, git commit message argc used to identify the number of variables passed to the command. Git push. By the way, these commit messages are descriptive enough for a person that is going to look into this code in the future. Actually, myself, if I look into it in the future, so that is why I wrote it like that. So this should pass everything. Yes, it has passed. Let's continue. Write a program that prints all argument it receives. All arguments should be printed, including the first one. Only print one argument per line, ending with new line. So let's check this one. If this is going to be done like that, and it is going to print this one. So we have done this already. I'm going to just copy it from some file.c by getting back the first one, this one. So I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to create the file first. Let me get down here, and so I'm going to do what? Touch to argc clear, and I'm going to open that file from here, and I'm going to use copy and paste here, and I'm going to use this one, copy and paste here, and I'm going to remove this one, and as Betty likes it, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to go down back here, and this also should be go down here so that Betty is happy. I'm going to do a line between this as well, and I'm going to check Betty first. Betty to args.c space required between less than, which is this one, and that is only error I am having. So I'm going to save this one and get back here and Betty on it, and as you can see, this is going to print it with index. So I'm going to remove these ones up to this one. So this is what is needed. So I'm going to remove this one as well, argvi. So this is going to do exactly what is required. So I'm going to git add it. So let's hit first, git add or git commit message printing the argument passed. Git push and if I check this code, it is going to pass, I hope. Done. Yes, that is what we did previously. So let's go down and work on this. So write a function that multiplies two numbers. This is a function. So let's create our file. Clear touch 3 mul.c. So there are a couple of requirements. Your program should print the result of multiplication followed by a new line. That is one requirement. You can assume that the two numbers and result of the multiplication can be stored in an integer. So this is going to be an integer. An integer is going to be done. So if the program does not receive two arguments, your program should print error followed by a new line and return 1. So this is another check we are going to make. So let's open that one. I'm going to close this, close out and save it. Close this one. I'm not going to close this one and close this one and close this one. And I'm going to open. I'm going to close this one as well, so that I can open it from here. The main. What happened? Yes, this and this are going to be open. I'm going to select them and open them, and I'm going to close this one. This is what I need, so I'm going to do this one. So I'm going to say include stdio.h, which is what I need. And the other thing, let's go down and open one of these things, and I'm going to copy these and come back here and do this, and I'm going to again copy the main part, copy here, v here, and do this thing. Then I'm gonna need a couple of things, which is integer result, the first one, and the second one is to iterate through the thing. Actually, I don't need to iterate through it, so I'm going to say num1, which is the number 1, and num2, which is number 2, which is passed to my function. I'm going to come here and do, actually here result is going to be 0 first, so I'm going to come back here and do a check, which I should return for this one if the number is going to be that 1. So it is saying if the program does not receive two argument, which is two argument means if argc is not equals to 3, which is what I need. It is not if it is not equals to 3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two things. One is going to print a string, what is it saying? To argument, your program should print error followed by new line, so it is going to be followed by new line, comma, and it should return that thing. So I'm going to say error that 1 and come back here and return what? 1, number 1. So that is what it should do. if the argument is argc is not equals to 3, and if it is going to be 3, I'm going to say num1 equals to argv1, num2 equals to argv2. As you can see, num1 is going to be on index 1, which is as we have seen, the first index is going to be the first argument, and the 0 index is going to be the file name or the argument name, and the second argument is going to be the 2 argument. So this is going to print error and number 1 if it is above 3 and below 3. So we have exactly 3 argument, and the argument on the first part is the first index is going to be number 1 and number 2. So we have to add some things, as this argv is always considering everything as a string, so we need to include another library, which is include std library.h, which includes an a to I, which is the conversion of a string to integer, a to I, which is this one, and I'm going to say the result is equals to number 1 multiplied by number 2. I can also remove this one as it is unnecessary thing there. So I'm going to print f what, a digit. I think it is going to be followed by a new line, comma, result, and it is going to return 0, and that is what we need. I think this is what our function is going to do. So let's check our function by copying cp. Let's go to this one and cp --alx and 0x0a and 3. I think it is 3, so argv, so 3 mul.c to this directory. Too many arguments. What is too many arguments there? cd, no, not cd, actually cp, copy. So ls, as you can see, there is a 3 mul there, so I'm going to do gcc 3 mul to output it to multiply, which I can do whatever I want. So I'm going to clear this and multiply, and what I'm going to pass is 3, and it should print an error. As you can see, it is an error, and I'm going to add 3 and 4, 5, and it should print 15. That is what it should do. It is going to multiply this one and this one. So as you can see, num1 is going to be the first argument, which is 3, and num2 is going to be the second argument, which is 5. So a to I is it is going to change the string, the thing that was in string to an integer. That is what it is doing. So let's git commit this one and continue. Git add all, git commit message multiplication using argc and argc argv is done. git push. This is going to say pushed, and I'm going to check on this. I think I have respected Betty, but if she complains, I'm going to get back and correct it for her. So I have respected her and she has respected me as well. So write a program that are say positive numbers, print a result followed by a new line. If no number is passed to the program, print 0 followed by a new line. If one of the number contains symbols that are not digit, print error followed by a new line and return 1. You can assume that numbers and the addition of all numbers can be stored in an int. So this is the instruction. So let's create the file first. Touch number 4-add.c, and let's open this file, and let's copy everything in here to this v. So I'm going to remove some things. So there is this one, result should be equals to 0, as I am going to use this is saying there is no limit to the function, or there is no limit on the argument number. So I'm going to check everything. So this might be, as you can see, multiple digits. So I have to check if, for example, 1 1 1 0 or 1 1 another character is going to be added. I have to check if that character is another one, and I have to return an error. As you can see here, 1 2 3 e 4 5 is going to return an error, and dot add is going to return something. So I have to check for the character there, and the other thing is going to be if no parameter is passed, as this one, it should be returning 0, and the return value of everything is going to be an integer. So that is what it is saying. So let's code here. So I'm going to remove these ones as they are going to confuse us. So I'm going to do this now. So as of now, these are, now let's write the code now. So I'm going to say there is no number 1 and number 2, just a number, which I'm going to retrieve using a for loop. And let's continue. So I'm going to say, I'm going to check if the number that is being passed is going to be a number or another character. So first, let's for a loop, for loop, I'm going to say I equals to 0. So I have to add I here, comma I. So I less than argc, and I plus plus. The first one is this one, and I'm going to do this one. So the second loop is going to help me identify if the argument is if the argument passed has a character, another character other than digit on it. So I'm going to say if for again another loop, I'm going to use another loop. So I'm going to say j. By the way, if I write it and come back and explain it, that is going to be good, but let me write it by explaining, then I'm going to explain it in depth after. So if I am actually in here, I am going through the characters. For example, if this was given, if this is the one I'm running, so by this loop I am retrieving, or I am running through 1, 10, 100 and 1000. By this loop, I'm going to loop through the string 1 first, 1 0 second, 1 0 0 next, and continue like that. So to break out of a string, I'm going to say argv I, which is the first one, so and j, the second one. This one is going to be should be different from a null character. A null character is represented by /0, and j++. I am going to print out what? Print f a string followed by new line, comma, error as that, and return number 1, which is what is expected. So this is going to check for any character that is going to be passed. If any character is passed, it is going to say I have had enough. So there is another third loop that I am going to loop through down here for the sake of what? For the sake of printing or retrieving the sum and printing it to the console. So I'm going to say for k equals to 0, k less than argc k plus plus. I'm going to say this one. Here I'm going to retrieve. The first one is going to be k number equals to, which is this one. Number should be equals to a to I, which is a number as it should. Let me pick up the phone and get back to you. Right, and let me get back here, and as you can see, it is going to change this to string, and I'm going to make it say argv and k, which is the current line. As you can see, this is saying a to I to argv, and I'm going to say if, what is it saying? You can assume that number of this is addition of the stored is an integer. If no number is passed to the program, it should print 0. So I'm going to say if here I have to check if argc is equals to 1, which is the only thing. I'm going to say print if. Okay, we are here as if argc equals to 1, which is what it is saying. If no number is passed to the program, print 0 and return. So I'm going to say print 0 and with new line, and new line. So I'm going to do that only. So after this one, if so, for k equals to 0, k less than equals to argc k plus plus, I'm going to say result equals to plus equals to number, which is making it like that, which is going to add it like that. So I'm going to give back here and print f a digit with new line common sum, which is like that, and return 0, which is like this. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to run this program by coming here and maximizing this, and I'm going to come here, for example number 4 tab, and copy here. Then what is going to happen is I'm going to do this one on 4 dash output to add addition. So there is something here, print sum. So this is some result. I think this is rather than sum, it is going to be result. I'm going back here. I have saved it, right? I think I have saved it, but I haven't changed it back there, so I'm going to replace it, going back here. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy it, and as you see, it is done. So I'm going to test with the test case given on here. This one. So I'm going to say clear first, then addition 1, 1 space 1. It is giving me an error. Let's see what the reason is getting back here. So argc equals to 1. If it is argc equals to 1, it is going to print this one. And if it is getting right here it should be 1. It should be starting from 1, as the first one is a string, which is addition, and here as well it should be starting from 1. Let's go and check here. Let's copy back here and compile it again and run this one. It is still the same. So let's see, I have saved it, and for I equals to 1 it should be starting from 0, and this one, and with new line comma argv, which is argv I. Just I want this to be printed out, so I'm going back here, cp this one, compile it, addition. So 1 is the answer, and what is the other thing? Error is also being printed. Oh. Here, as you can see, it should return this one. The reason is I haven't added a conditional here, if, which is I have to check if the characters are actually numbers. So I'm going to say argv I j greater than number 9, which is a character number 9, or argv I j less than 0, which is another here. So I'm going to copy this one and get back here and make it open here. So I'm going to tag it here, save, and then it is this one. So let's check again by copying the first one, compiling it, and running this one. So as you can see, it is now adding the two numbers. So let's get back here and check for this one. Dot addition 1, 10, 100 and 1000, I think. This is it, and it is correctly returning what is expected. Clear. Again, addition, then 1, 2, 3, E, I think E, 4 and 5. This should bring an error, as it should be, and if I just hit addition, it should print 0 only, not two things. So why is it giving me this? So this one is giving me this one, so I can skip this one, and it is already doing the task. So let's check for this one. Let me copy it first, then compile it, then here, as you can see, it is printing 0 already. So let me clear here, clear, and I'm going to come back here and Betty check on it. Betty number 4, I think, Argc and trading white space online 21, which is coming here. This one. So trading white space online 21 again. This is trading, not a space. So trading is afterward, so that's what it is saying. So let me get add here, hit commit. So I think I have 3M here. I'm going to message it addition of arguments delete push, and it is going to be here, and I'm going to check my code, which should be running fine. Yes, and that is the correction. So let's do the advanced task today, so that let's do the advanced task as well. So let me go here and touch 100 dash change, let's see, and I'm going to open this one. I'm going to include to stdio.h, which is standard input output dot h header, and I'm going to bring this one as I'm going to write the main file only. So I'm going to copy this and come back here and paste it here, and in this one. So let's write this thing. So write a print the minimum number of coin to make change for an amount of money. So the usage is going to be dot slash change cents, where cents is amount of cents you need to give back. If the number of argument passed to your program is not exactly one, print error followed by new line and return one. You should use a to I to parse the parameter passed to your program, and if the number passed as argument is negative, print 0 followed by new line. You can use an unlimited number of coin of values 25, 10, 5, 2 and 1 cents, so there is no limit on there. So let's do the coding now. So let's have our parameters which we need. The first one is number, to parse the number passed to our command line, J for loop, and result to return our result, which is starting from 0. And I have I'm going to have a coins array, which is going to be 25, 10, 5, 2, 1, and this is going to be my array of coins. And I'm going to start from the basic or the base case, which is if this the argument passed is going to be not exactly 1, which is argc not equals to 2, with the command I'm going to say something which is print f not. I'm going to print a string followed by new line, comma, error, and then return number 1 as asked. The other parts are, for example, the one we have is going to be the other thing is we have to parse the number equals to a to I what argv1, which is the first argument. And to use a to I, I'm going to include standard library, include std library.h, so that I can use a to I here, which I used here. So I'm going down, and if I have some condition which I need to fix, which is if the number passed is negative, print 0 followed by new line. So I'm going to do that exactly now. If number less than 0, okay, print f is not digit actually 0 followed by new line. Why should I add another thing? So, and the other thing is return 0. So I'm going to keep back here, and I'm going to run the for loop now, so that it is going to be clear. For j equals to 0, j less than, and the length of this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 5, and number greater than or equals to 0. This is the condition. j plus plus. I'm going to do a while loop here, while number greater than or equals to coins j, which is the first coin first, then the second one, and the third one, and so forth. What I'm going to do is, the first one is I'm going to minus, for example, I'm going to change the number by, for example, minus equals to coins j, and I'm going to add 1 to result, so result plus plus. Okay, and then this is what I need here. The other thing here is, what is left is I'm going to print out the result, which is print f the digit with n comma the result. Actually, I have to individual things and result. Return 0. Save this. Then let's test these things here, and I'm going to come here and copy and low level and 100. Okay, 0x0a, I think, a argv and 100 this, and the other thing is dot here and clear. Then I'm going to ls here. I'm going to make it compile this 100 changes to change. There is, alright, I have to add -o here, -o here, so that there is an error here, which is coins j. So I'm going back, then I'm going to add this one here as it is showing me there. So I'm going to come here, which is, there is another, alright, let me copy it back, copy back and do this clear, and let's test for the test case given here. For example, by coming here, I'm going to say dot change, dot slash change. It is going to give me an error, then it is going to give me 100, it is going to give me 4, 13, 100, 1, it is going to give me 5, 100, 13, it is going to give me 3. So this is it. So this is the correct answer. So I'm going to check a Betty on it. Betty 100, this, clear, git ro, git commit message. This is what advanced task and change. So git push, and let's check this one. I think it is going to pass, and after this I'm going to end this video and start a new one for the static one, so that you can work on this one first. So I'm going to end this and start the new one. For now, bye for this one, and I'm going to start a new one. So Bye.